All right, so welcome again to Military Guna TV. Thank you very much for joining me. It is Peru 3, Jamaica nil. Jamaica 0, Peru 3. And quietly so, they definitely deserve that win. It was a game, I would say, as a Reggae Boy fan, a game of two halves. First half would have shown that we do have something, we do have guts. That's what the first half would have shown us. And I do believe that there's quite a few things to talk about in this game in all perspective. And I can say that we as Reggae Boy fans, especially the first half, would have seen stuff. You can say we have seen things that would say would resonate with what we want, an identity, something that we were galvanized about. So let's go. Before I get into that, I'm gonna just I will definitely run a video before I get into the details of stuff, just to get you guys going. Um, in all aspect, people, this is something that I think that. But let's get it cracking. Let's get it cracking. Good. All right. So, all right. So we're here to discuss the game, and I have a few pointers. I have a few things that I want to discuss before we get into the goals. We definitely want to discuss some pros and cons, some stuff that we can say we understand. So let's before we do anything, let's look at the starting lineup. Let's have a look at the starting lineup. Two new faces. I would say two new faces. Let me bring that up so you guys can see two new faces into the team. We played a 4-2-3-1 system, one in which I think that we fairly handled the game well. The system was quite well. As I said earlier, you could see an identity. You could see things that we could resonate with. We see players that we are very much excited about. So we have Amal Knight in goal. You have Javian Brown at right back, Damian Lowe, Richard King as the centre back pair. We have Kemar Taxel Lawrence at left back. In the midfield, we have Javon Watson and Devon Speedy Williams as the double pivot. In front of them, the midfield three. In front of them, the attacking three are Walker, Beckford, and Peter Lee Vassell. Peter Lee Vassell was playing in the attacking midfield position, whilst Fletcher was leading the line. Now, on the bench, we have a few names. I know a lot of persons wanted to see come onto the pitch. We have Tope, we have Tevin Shaw, we have Akwesa Chung, but one of the name. We have Thomas, we saw Rose as well. We have Owell, we have Campbell, Devante Campbell, we have Owell, we have R. Owell and M. Owell. We have Busy Atkinson, and we have Jaden White. So let's move away from that and get into the game itself. Let's look at the stats. Let's look at the stats of the game. Let's look at the stats of the game, because these things are some of the things that we have to discuss. And despite as dominant it may be, we have to look at these aspects, because that's how we can learn a few things and get to understand. So they had a total shots of 17. They had 7 shots on target. We had 5. Only one on target. That only one on target was from I think it was Beckford, the header from Beckford, which was quite a good header. They had 61% possession. They had 39% possession. And that shows the class. And I think that their team, in overall concept, is a better team than ours. I honestly do believe so, that their team was just a better team than ours. Now, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this. I don't like the average possession. Yes, that is part of football, but their possession that they had was merely um, through the defenders in the first half, I would say, in the first half. But in the second half, they grew into the game. We started to dominate a little bit more. That is where we started to see we losing concentration into the game. That's the second half. But let's talk about the positives first. Negative. Let's talk about the positive first. Richard King, baller, really, really good defender. Javian Brown, baller. Fletcher, it was pretty much silent throughout the game. I think we could have seen a little bit more from Fletcher. At one point, we saw Mr. Paul Hall calling him over. I think it was because he was coming too deep to come and fetch the ball. And when you come so deep, you leave the defenders free. So I think that maybe could be the problem that he spoke to him about. But you could see the quality that Fletcher have with this turn and move. Then no Beckford, rapid, extremely rapid. So we could say that we saw few players who came onto the scene and said, "Hey, I'm here and I want to stay, and I'm putting myself in the position to stay." No, as the first half kick off, we said, "Yes, we are playing some football. We are pressing, counter pressing. We're closing down the channels early, sharp closing down the channel in the entirety of the first half, getting to the ball first." One thing I realized is that whenever we arrive, whenever there's a corner, we don't do well our ball in the air. We don't do well with those at all. But it's a part of football, and I don't think that really dampened us. So we started to play the ball around. Some lovely movement from Speedy Williams in the midfield. He was doing a lot of work. I mean, a tremendous amount of work. Pretty much Aka was involved in the first 15 minutes, pretty much involved getting himself here and there, going around and one touch, two touch with Speedy Williams. And then when the game jogged out a bit in the 30th minute, you could see that fatigue started to creep onto Aka. But as I said, it's a part of football. Some rush challenge from Damian Lowe. Also, some really, really good recovery from Damian Lowe, using his pace 1 and 2 time when they would break away, because we were pressing quite high. And it's good that we have Damian Lowe as a really pacey defender who could do with those quick recovery. As I said, he's a bit rush, but that's his nature. But that rushing some of the times is what gets us out of trouble quite a few times. Richard King, now I'm really, really impressed with Richard King. He looks calm, he looks composed, he looks like a defender who is ready to take on to the next step. He looks ready, calm, composed. Yes, you can see that he's a bit raw in regards to certain aspect of the game. A little immaturity when you could literally go down, just a little nudge and you go down and you win a foul, and that little turnover can get you back into the game. So those are the small aspect of the game. So in the first half, really good. Javian Brown at the right back position, solid, extremely solid. Some aggressive tackles going in, one touch movement, playing some good football with his right back. Also playing some good football when Aka come and fetch and 1-2 movements. Then no Beckford, 1-2 with Beckford as well. Also going overlap and underlapping, bringing 2 and 3 defenders with him, opening the channels for Beckford to just move into those areas and get off a shot or make those passes inside of the final third. So in the first half, I would say really, really good football. You could see the shape, the entirety of the shape in the first half. I specifically, consistently saying in the first half, we saw all of that. Now, as the game drags on, you could say that as you know in football, the first 5 minutes, of the game, 5 minutes before halftime, 5 minutes after halftime, 5 minutes before full time, these are the most dangerous aspect of football, most dangerous particular timings in football, where your concentration level have to be at the peak. Now, let's get into it. So the second half kicks off. The first thing happened, they started to press us high. That is the first thing that I realized. They started to press us. They started to push back with the press. So with that pushback. So this is the first goal. We conceded. I think it was a set piece. We conceded a set piece. Ball goes inside of the 18-yard box. It was a foul by Aka. Ball goes into the 18-yard box. Then it was cleared out. And at this particular time, as you can see, hopefully you guys are seeing the cursor. I want you guys to look at the cursor. Pay keen attention to the cursor, guys. Pay keen attention to the cursor. As you're looking at the cursor, you have 1, 2, 3 defenders here. 1, 2, 3 attackers. No, let's say you have 1, 2, 3 attackers in around 2 defenders. Right here, I believe that the defenders should be a little bit more sharper and aware in what's happening right in this instance. But as you know, it's a game of football. Anything can happen. Let me see if anything can happen. So the game went in. I think it's 90%. The keeper should have been a little bit better. His positioning was a little bit off, I believe. His position was a little bit off. Yes, the defenders should have done a lot better in regards to clearing the ball, but his position was a little bit off. And so the striker in between 2 defenders, even though you can see here is there are 2 defenders, 1, 2, and 3 strikers, and he got off his shot and he got the goal. Now, this is where we concede the second goal. So the first goal was scored by Luis Ibrico, assisted by Collins, actually, on the 48th minute. Now move down to the second goal. Alex Valera. This man didn't touch the ball 10. This guy does not have 10 touch. Valera does not have 10 touch. Let me see how much touches. I'm going to check it. Oh, yeah, he has quite a few amount of touches. But inside of the danger area, inside of our danger area, it didn't have a lot of touches. It didn't have a lot of touches inside of our final third. No, he didn't get any opportunities. None were created for him. But I think this right here was a bit of fatigue. I think it has a lot to do with fatigue, blurry vision here, and Aka passing the ball to Valera. So basically, all Valera did turn, Alex Valera, all he did turn, go at goal. Now, what I want to show you guys are the options that he had. Aka could have went to the goalkeeper right here. He also, he could have went to the goalkeeper right here. He also could have cleared it. He also could have played it in the channel here. You see, I think this is, I'm not sure. Possibly this is Beckford coming in deep. This here is Speedy. No, this is Speedy, and we have Vassal here. I think this is Vassal or Walker. This is when they change. I think this is when Walker changed. I think this is Walker, and there are the options. So he has 3 clear-cut options. In the channel here, to Walker here, and also to the keeper. So he had Richard King over on this side, and he was trying to pass the ball to Richard King here. He could have booted the ball out, but you know, I wouldn't advocate for that as well. But he made the wrong pass. He played it right into the channel for Alex Valera, and there goes that goal. So that is the second goal, and that is where when I thought the cookie crumbled from the first goal, kind of lapse in concentration, and then now we saw the second goal coming. Now, one of the good things that I realized that despite we were 2 goals down, we kept on playing our football. What we were trying to do, you could see that we were still trying to play what we want to play, trying to come out of that hasty movement, trying to win back the game as fast as possible. You could clearly identify where we realized that we were still into the game and still could get something out of the game, and we kept it going and still tried to play the ball around. Now, this here is the third goal. Now, I think I definitely believe that Amal Knight has to hold up his hand for this one. This goal was scored by Yotin. I think Amal Knight have to hold up his hand for this one. Let me show you something, people. Now, this is literally like about 25 yards out. So let me show you something. This is Amal Knight here being circled. This is Amal Knight. There's a huge space right here. There's a huge space right here. So it's covering the right post, the right-hand post. And that is why the player, he whipped the ball to the left-hand side of Amal Knight, because there was a huge gap right here. I'm hoping that you guys are seeing the cursor. And he saw that opportunity, and he made great use of it. He saw that opportunity, and he made great use of it. In all aspects, I thought we would have gotten a 1-1, But when you check the track record of this Peruvian team, they are playing good football and they are working extremely hard. They have a project going on. And if you look at it, if you look at the squad, it's an experienced squad. This is the same squad that has been playing throughout the entirety of the World Cup qualifiers campaign. So they do have a project going on and they are well prepared for this game, an experienced squad as well. This is the first time the team playing together, and I can see some positives in regards to the style of play, what we're trying to do. You could clearly see that we're trying to do something, but I think that's a part of football. The time will come. I don't want to go any further and getting you guys bored. The substitution, yeah, I think that Javon Watson could have maybe come off at halftime. I think the fatigue, you could literally blame anyone, but I think you should look into yourself and know that you were tired at halftime. You were definitely tired at halftime, and I think that should have been one of the first sub at halftime. You managed the first half quite well. The first 30 minutes, you managed it quite well. You and Speedy had a good combination, and then you can clearly see that the lactic acid build up. Now, a few players that I can say that didn't. Lamar Walker, Atton Cole, we could have demanded a little bit more. Fletcher, in the second half, was non-existent. In the first half, you could see that he was trying. You could clearly see that he was trying, but in the second half, as soon as the game started to get away from us, you couldn't see much more from him. Beckford, no. Yeah, he tried. He tried. He really tried. You have to give him that. So for me, I think in overall aspect, I think the best player for us throughout the entirety of the game was actually Speedy Williams. He was the best player for us. And in accordance to players who are new to the team or haven't played for a long while, I think that Richard King is the one who stood out the most to me in regards to his calm, cool, calm, and collective. How he handles himself in the defensive third. Really enjoy that. How he plays. Really enjoy watching him play. He defends really well. And I think that as he gets a little bit older, he will understand how to take those little niggling fouls. Those type of fouls when they get a little nudge and go down quite easily. You will learn those things as you mature a little bit more. So I won't go any further. Pretty much not the result that we're looking for, but we have seen the performance that we hope to see, and we can say that we put some passes together, we put some 1-2 touches, things that we haven't seen in a long while, and I can say that football is a game of it's just unforgiving. But Paul Hall, yes, you could see Paul Hall speaking to some of the players, calling over a few of the players, giving them some instructions. He never sat throughout the entirety of the 90. He was active, speaking to the player, micromanaging. Yeah, but that's a part of football. And definitely, it was a game that most people reflect and say that they see some stuff. Yes, the result wasn't fair, but you have to perform to get the result that you want. And we didn't put in the performance to get the result, but we put in a performance to get to understand what we're trying to do. So thank you guys for tuning in. This has been really a good one. Hopefully, guys get something out of this. And we'll see you guys again. Peru 3, Jamaica 0. This has been really a tough one. And before I go, let me just share this video again with you guys. Let me share the video again with you guys before I go. Who